Big trade, just coming down, very surprising. Whoa, including the Utah Jazz.
Okay.
The Utah Jazz are trading for Jaren Jackson Jr.,
Whoa.
John Conchar, Jock Landale, and Vince Williams for Walt Clayton, Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, George Niang, and 3 future first-round picks. This is a huge trade for the Utah Jazz.
Wow, that is a huge trade for the Jazz. Breaking news.
Jaren Jackson Jr. is exactly the type of player the Jazz have needed to come in and cement the front court, right? He's going to come in and be a major defensive piece for the Utah Jazz. So you are giving up on Walt Clayton, Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, George Niang, and 3 future firsts. Obviously, we're going to have to see the quality of these first-round picks, but that is a blockbuster among blockbusters, and really the first for the Utah Jazz since 2022. This is a huge, huge move.
Wow, I'm just trying to digest this, honestly. The 3 future firsts is the meat of the deal, obviously. I don't know if the Jazz opinion on Taylor Hendricks is all that high. I think they like Walt Clayton, but everything else is just filler. I mean, I've always really liked Jaren Jackson Jr. He needs to be a better rebounder.
I wish he rebounded. He is a former Defensive Player of the Year. He's truly one of the great defensive players in the NBA. He's a 2-time blocks champion. He's a 2-time All-Star. And the key for him is he's 26 years old.
Yeah.
Like, you're acquiring a 26-year-old 2-time All-Star who fixes your flaws on your roster.
You know, one thing that the Jazz have not really utilized with Lowry marketing that Cleveland did was they put him at the 3, and all of a sudden they were the biggest team in the league by a mile. I don't know how this affects their plans for Walker Kessler, but if you start Walker Kessler, Jaren Jackson Jr., Lowry Markkinen as your front court.
And Ace Bailey?
They're huge. And then Ace Bailey goes into the backcourt?
Yeah, we'll have to see the picks. The picks are going to be a big part of this trade. I would suspect you're including the Phoenix Suns 2031 pick. I would suspect you're including the Lakers pick next year, which is top 4 protected, and probably one of the Timberwolves or Cavaliers pick that's still going. I would be surprised if the Jazz were including their own picks in it, but they certainly could. Because you have to give up some real draft capital.
Well, if they're trying to be good, I'd include my own picks. You know what I mean? Like, I'd bet against Cleveland being good to a previous conversation.
If you think you're going to be good.
You know, I would bet against Phoenix being good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I might include my own picks. It's obviously more complicated than that. But
the nice thing about your own picks is if it doesn't work out, you control your own ability to tank. If you just trade other people's picks, doesn't matter. You can give up their stuff, and it doesn't really bother you. So that's the advantage of holding on to your own picks. But your logic is totally correct. If you think you're going to be good, trade your own picks. You know, trade your 2027 pick next year if you think you're going to make the playoffs. But this is a monumental trade. I mean, this is exactly the type of player you've got to be looking for to pair with Lowry Markkinen and maybe Walker. I mean, if Lowry's going to shift down to the 3...
That's what I'm saying. Then you're huge
Then
all of a
you're
sudden.
huge, and Ace Bailey at the 2. The question is, do the Jazz think Jaren Jackson Jr. is a 5? And if they think he's a 5, they've just moved on from Walker Kessler. Because that's a real possibility. But you're right, Jaren Jackson Jr. just does not rebound the ball ever. He's a very poor rebounder, and that's a hard thing to deal with as a 5.
He is under contract, too, for a long time. He's making 35 this year. Then this must be where the extension kicks in. 49 next year, 50 the year after that, 52, and then a player option for 53.5. So he's under contract until at earliest 2029.
Yeah, no, this is a major investment in the playoffs beginning next year in Utah. Obviously, it's too late to do that now. The Jazz are going to tank the rest of this season. I'll be curious how much we see Jaren Jackson Jr. this year. But this is a sign that this is over, that this will be done. And again, maybe this year's draft pick is included. I would be absolutely shocked if that was the case. I don't think the Jazz are going to be willing to give up this year's pick. But this is the sign that, Memphis Grizzlies are pulling the plug. He is their best player. He's better than John Morant at this point in his career.
Sure is.
So they are starting over. They also traded Desmond Bane in the offseason. So the Jazz get a major, major piece, a high-level player in Jaren Jackson.
You know,
Jr.
he shoots 36% from 3.
He's
I don't know if they make him the big. I don't know if that's the right spot for him.
Yeah, he's probably got to play the 4. In all honesty, I think he's probably got to play the 4.
But I love that concept. I guess that's what I'm saying. I love that idea of having him at the 4. That doesn't work if he can't shoot a lick, but, I mean, that's more than serviceable. 36, he shoots 5 a game.
Yeah, no, he is a modern big. He's exactly what you're looking for. Like the stretch 4-5 big man that defends the rim and shoots the three and opens up your offense. Clearly, the Jazz loved what Yusuf Nurkic brought to the team. Clearly, right? They were very excited about the ability to have 5 out. And look, maybe you still have Walker on this roster, but you can play legitimately 20 minutes with Jaren Jackson Jr. as your starting center and have the ability to space the floor significantly.
How about that for breaking news during the show, Ben? True at the end of the show, but at the show, breaking news during the show, the Jazz are making a deal. The Memphis Grizzlies are trading forward Jaren Jackson Jr., John Conchar, Jock Landale, and Vince Williams Jr. to the Jazz in exchange for Walt Clayton, Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, George Niang, and 3 future first-round picks.
Huge trade.
Man, everything's always the same until it isn't, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing how that stuff just flips in an instant. It's part of what I love about this job. Now, thanks to Jake Fisher, we have the what those picks are, Ben. The Jazz are trading their most favorable 2027 first-round pick, and they have 3, Cleveland, Minnesota, and their own. The Lakers' 2027 first-round pick, and Phoenix's 2031 first-round pick. Those are the ones that are going to Memphis. So 2 first-round picks in 2027 are going to Memphis.
So most favorable is always dangerous. You trade a most favorable 2027 pick, whatever happens to it, it's basically unprotected. And not only is it unprotected, it's if something goes wrong with Cleveland, like we just talked about, they're in the lottery, they win number 1, you lose that pick. I mean, that's dangerous for the Jazz, and then you don't have that Lakers pick either. But the advantage of paying off the picks right away, not this season, you get to hold on to your pick this year, which the Jazz are going to continue to tank for, I would imagine. But what you do have the ability to do is if it goes wrong and you have to abandon this style of immediate rebuild, which you've accelerated very quickly, you control your own picks. Teams get in trouble, the Milwaukee Bucks, the list goes on, who give up on all their own picks and then don't have the ability to recoup them. Phoenix Suns are in this issue right now. If you make a big trade for Kevin Durant or for Damian Lillard and it fails, and now you don't own any of your future picks, you're left having to trade your best players just to try and get other people's picks back so you can control your rebuild. The Jazz don't have to worry about that now. So that's one part of the trade that I would give the Jazz an A+ on. What I like about Jaren Jackson Jr. is he's 26 years old and he's a 2-time All-Star, and he immediately comes in and sets a defensive identity, a former Defensive Player of the Year, where the Jazz have been the worst defensive team for a long time. And it's actually not that hard to get better defensively. Go get good defensive players. And Jaren Jackson Jr. is one of the premier defenders in the league. But there are huge questions now from here. What happens with Walker Kessler? I don't know what you do with him, because you have $50 million going to Jaren Jackson Jr., you have $45 million going to Lauri Markkanen. You're going to be giving Keontae George probably 35 plus in the next few years. Like, you probably can't pay Walker 25 or 30 this year. So you've got 48 hours to figure out what you're going to do with Walker Kessler. And if other teams are going to come in and try and give him a huge contract this summer, even if that's $30 million, you're probably better off trading Walker in the next 24 hours, 48 hours, and trying to get some of these picks back.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm a little intrigued with putting Walker with this front line, but of course, as you point out, the salaries make that a little bit more difficult, and they do have to pay Keontae George at some point. In fact, when is Keontae due for his extension?
They could extend him this summer, but they don't have to until a summer from now, until 2027. He'll be restricted.
So he's technically got one more year after this one.
Yes. But Jazz fans, this is a sign that the tank is almost over. Not over. Jazz are going to get their pick this year. I mean, that's going to be the plan. I don't think you're going to see a lot of Jaren Jackson Jr. down the stretch, probably here and there in pieces just to see how it works. But I don't think the Jazz are going to risk losing their pick this year because they acquired Jaren Jackson Jr. Because if you really want to win a title or you really want to compete, have Ace Bailey, have Lowry, have Keontae George, have Jaren Jackson Jr., and then throw A.J. DeBonta into that mix, and you've got a stew going, as they like to say.
Got yourself a stew going.
You're really cooking there at that point. So very fascinating, a fascinating move, and the right type of move that I don't think closes the Jazz's pathways. I think it opens it up. This isn't an all-in move. It's a major move, but it's by no means an all-in move.
Is it any chance it becomes official today?
Yeah.
Because I hate those broadcasts so much because I got to do jazz pre-half and post where you have to dance around it because it's not official.
Yeah, you may not be able to. That would be awkward. And then it's like, yeah, why are all these players not playing? Why are none of these guys on the floor?
I remember we were at the Stars game, like one of the day games with the kids when Rodney Hood got traded. Mm-hmm. And I was in the middle of talking to Jonathan Reinhardt, who is the president of the Stars, but was head of PR for the Jazz and knew Rodney Hood really well. So I was like, Jonathan, Rodney Hood got traded. What do you think about that? He's like, I can't talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know what you're saying.
I don't know what you're talking about. Wrong number.
Really interesting for Memphis. I think they trade Ja now if they can, but also everyone's going to say, you got to trade Ja, so we're not going to pay top dollar for him because you have to.
No, it's Memphis. They're going to keep Ja.
But they're clearly, they honestly could keep Ja and then try and retool around him. Should be insane.
$28 million trade exception, so the Jazz are eating that salary.
Yeah. Yeah, because the Jazz aren't sending okay, and we need to also pay attention to this. I'm sorry, I'm trying to digest a lot of this. Who the Jazz have going out is also a big deal here. You know, these are players the Jazz have invested a lot in. The Jazz are sending Kyle Anderson, George Niang, Taylor Hendricks, and Walt Clayton. Now, Taylor Hendricks is the one they invested the most in because you lost an entire season to get him. You know, you tanked a season to get him, at least the second half of a season to go out and get Taylor, and it never quite worked out. And the injury played a major part in that. We'll never know what he could have become, but you would hope that one day he could have become Jaren Jackson Jr., and now you have him. Kyle Anderson was never going to be a part of the future. George Niang was never going to be a part of the future. Walt Clayton really could have been, but I think the Jazz have also liked what they've gotten from Isaiah Collier in recent weeks.
Wow.
I mean, he's playing well.
Huge news.
That's crazy. That's one of the 5 biggest trades in Utah Jazz history, no question about it.
Jazz acquiring Jaren Jackson Jr. from the Memphis Grizzlies in exchange for what Ben just said there, but mainly 3 first-round picks.
John Conchar, Jock Landale, Vince Williams also coming to Utah.
But those guys are all – the only one that's under contract next year is
Conchar and Vince Williams both have money next year, but yeah, I think they're
Conchar is the only one guaranteed. Vince Williams is team option.
Yeah. Who's been okay at times in his career. We'll see. We'll see what the Jazz decide.
Jock Landale is free agent, which I don't think he'll be on the Jazz next year.
Agreed. Jaren Jackson Jr. also, we should note, of my knowledge of him, I don't think I've talked to him since he was here for the Salt Lake City Summer League a long time ago, is like exceptional culturally. He's one of these guys who is a high level person. In addition to being a great basketball player, I don't think he comes in and causes trouble.
He doesn't have the jaw bug.
He doesn't have the jaw bug. No, by all accounts, he's a good teammate and very well liked around the NBA and very well respected, as is the case generally, not always, but generally with Michigan State kids. He's a Michigan State guy.
If he does, and I'm not saying he does, but if he does choose to attend a gentleman's club, he goes in unarmed.
You hope so.
All right, stay tuned. Don't give me that weird look, Lloyd. Scotty G's coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.